All right, check out my new hat. This thing just came in from Boston Scally. I ordered it online. Check out my new hat. It just came in. Still got some relaxing to do, being in the box or whatever. But yeah, how you like my new hat? It's called the Crack. CRAIC. You see right there. Now I know it's mirrored. Okay, use your imagination. But you see there, CRAIC, the Crack. Which, for those of you who are not blessed enough to be of Irish lineage, and for you Irishmen who are of Irish lineage and just don't know, crack, C-R-A-I-C, is a slang word over there for having a good time, making noise, cutting up a little bit and everything. That's why the British, the Dutch and Germans and stuff, when the Scotch-Irish, which is my lineage, when they first started coming over back in the 1600s, or whatever, to the colonies, that's where the what some people call a racial slur today, cracker, comes from. It's because us rednecks, man, us Scotch-Irish, us Ulster Scots, some people call us, we came over and we like to stay up late at night, drinking whiskey, shooting guns in the air, getting romantic, that kind of stuff. So they called us crackers, just saying we were noise makers and everything. But so this little cap's called the Crack, C-R-A-I-C. When you go over to Ireland, like they'll walk up to you, sometimes in Scotland too, they'll walk up to you, and instead of, like here in America, we might say, hey, what's up? Whatever, what's up? And what they'll say to you, they'll walk up to you and they'll say something instead like, hey, what's the crack? Like that, which would have a whole different meaning. If I walked up to you in Walmart and I said, hey, what's the crack? You'd be wondering, what's that do, man? That's kind of personal. At any rate, so yeah, the Crack, I'm styling it. Tell me now, be honest with me. Be honest with me. If you think it looks all right, I don't really care. I'm still going to keep on wearing it, but, I'm just curious. Doing a little non-binding survey, if you think it looks looks good, looks silly, whatever. Try to ignore everything from here down, because, I can't help my genetics, my age, or my mileage. At any rate, here's a little video, a little news story from ABC 13 Houston about an accident where an 18-wheeler rear-ended a car full of young ladies who had a flat tire and was not off the roadway. So let's check it out.
November on this wide open stretch just outside of Dalhart, where 4 young women took their last breaths. Lakeisha Brown, Mayunique Johnson, Taylor White, and Brianna Brantley.
4 beautiful souls gone in the blink of an eye.
We're heading home from Oklahoma, Brianna's mother says, where they traveled to console a grieving friend.
And last thing she said, I love you and I'm on my way home.
Sabrina Johnson is now grieving herself.
It's not a day go by that I'm crying.
Newly released video taken from another car shows the crash that killed the young women. According to the DPS crash report, they pulled to the outside.
Notice now that this video is on a camera, ostensibly on the back dash of a car. May have been like a license plate somewhere down there around a bumper or whatever, but a traffic cam, on another car. And that car was actually passing. See, that car begins behind the car that had the flat tire. So the car that had the flat tire, had the flat tire, and then, began to slow down and put on their flashers to say, hey, pay attention, fool, and everything. So this car that's, has this camera, it slows down and starts to go around.
Women,
see, the other,
according
so
to the DP.
And then this is where you see the car with the camera is passing.
Yes, a crash report. They pulled.
You see it's passing like that, and then you see the red semi
to the outside lane, turned on the hazard lights, and slowed down due to a flat tire. The car with the camera passes them on the left. A few seconds later, an 18-wheeler plows into them from behind. We paused it at impact, but you can hear the reaction in real time.
They never had a chance. They never saw it coming. The video clearly shows they never saw it coming.
Johnson and the other women's families are now suing the truck driver, identified in the crash report as Guadalupe Villarreal, his trucking company, and HEB for whom he was transporting potatoes, alleging negligence. Lawyers believe the driver may have been distracted. The report says he failed to control speed.
All right, so we're gonna skip the lawyer here, Eugene with his striped red tie. There, we're gonna skip what he says, but at any rate, so I found this on Facebook a couple of days ago, and so there's people that are defending the truck driver, like this guy here, this James Condit stuff. Says a defective vehicle should have moved off of the road. That's true. Now Dougie here says was no shoulder. There was clearly a shoulder. We can scroll this back and we can see the shoulder. As you can see, there's clearly a shoulder. You see the little vibrate strip there to the left of that white line, and there's clearly a shoulder there. So that's just not true. However, he did point out that, hey, they had the hazard lights on, going under the speed limit, whatever. Underneath that view previous replies, there's some back and forth where people are basically, defending the truck driver. One guy points out, that everybody got opinions that ain't truck drivers, basically it's like a woman saying, well, as a mother, or here's one, like people who are pro abortion, and they'll say to a man, well, when you have a uterus, then you can have an opinion, that kind of stuff. And that's the basic argument that the people that are under, if I click that view previous replies, they'd pop out all of their little comments and everything. My friend John is over here texting me while I'm trying to video. Man, give me a minute, John. Man, give me a minute. It really ain't his fault. He don't know. I should have silenced all of that. But what is this? This is a crack, so this means I'm a what? I'm a crackhead. No, I am a cracker though. But anyway, if I clicked on that, you'd see what naturally there's all of that. When you have a uterus, you can have an opinion, except they say, when you have a CDL or when you're a truck driver, you can have an opinion, that kind of stupidity and stuff and everything. So here, when I responded to this dude like 2 days ago, I intended to respond to that James Condit dude or something, not this Dougie Bear Henderson guy, but that's who it tagged. So it doesn't matter if they're truckers or not. I don't need to be a pilot to know what causes plane crashes. You see how that works? I said any 16-year-old brand new driver's ed student knows that the trucker is at fault because he had plenty of time to avoid the car, just like the car taping the crash did. Look, I'm not trying to pick on semi-truck drivers and all that kind of stuff or whatever. But, I mean, come on. Anybody can look and see the dude never touched his brake. You see what I'm saying? The dude, he never touched his brake. None of that, And so let me look over here. There's a picture that I thought I had loaded, and I'm looking and I'm seeing that I, in fact, did not have it loaded, I don't think. Just bear with me a minute. Remember, crackhead, right? Cracker, okay? So give me just a minute. Okay, yeah. I can pull this up just real quick. Give me a minute. Yeah, this is how it works when you go in live, right? Except I ain't live either. I'm taping this, but I'm going to do it as if I'm live, because if I don't, I have to start my damn whole video back over a second time. So let me do this right here. Do me a little browse right there. Come over here, back to desktops, and I think this is the one I need. Yeah, no, that is not the one I need. I'm going to do one more. Stay with me now. Don't go nowhere. Don't close out yet. I'm going to get it. All right, I'm going to try one more time because I just saw the damn video. Let me see. Come on, I'm still learning. I'm old. Give me a minute. Okay, well, that's not working for me. All right, let me scroll that down. Well, you can see my beautiful blue eye. Oh, I know what it is. This is the right one. What am I doing? I got to pull it down like that. My. Look, y'all, I'm still trying to figure this out, so you just hang in here with me a minute. Yeah, so here's this James Conde dude responding to me where I said, up here, any 16-year-old brand new driver's ed student knows that, is the truckers at fault? I mean, he rear-ended the grass. This is what this dude said. This James Conde dude. It's always the trucker's fault, even when dumbasses run into us. James. Stop whining and crying and trying to avoid accountability like a woman. I'm assuming with your name being James that you're a man, James. Reach down there, grab your testes and give them a squeeze, all right? Maybe you can do it kind of like a dish sponge. And you can squeeze out some testosterone, okay? Squeeze them hard, man. Squeeze them hard. Get every drop of testosterone you can possibly express from your testicles. And stop acting like a whining, crying, accountability avoiding woman, James. I mean, come on. It's always the trucker's fault. Listen, James, let me show you something else. This might take me just a moment, just like the other one did a minute ago, but let me show you one more thing. I'm clicking around here, but I'm gonna get it a minute. Just hang on here, James, okay? Okay, James, I'm like, I might be slow, but I ain't stupid, so hang on, man. Let me see, I'm about to pull this up, do this the old-fashioned way. I'm finna show you a little something. Jimmy, boy. Jimmy, James, Jamaica. Hang on a minute, I'm gonna have this for you. Let me get this. Yeah, I made this special for you. I just didn't have all my stuff together when I did it. So here we go. Check this out, Jimmy, Jimbo, Jim Bob, Jamaica. Look at that. God dog it. Would you look at that driver of my license right there? Woo. Look at that fine thing over there on the left. God, talking almighty. Let's see. Let me show you a little something. Do you see that up there? What's that say? Commercial driver's license. You know what that means? That means I'm a CDL driver too. Yeah, I know down there it says Class B. Right up here, see, it says Class B. And I know that you probably Class A, and that's the only thing you ever accomplished in your life is getting a license where you can pull a trailer bigger than mine. But bless your little old pea-picking heart, Jimmy. Bless your heart, I'm proud of you, but the fact remains that I too am a commercial truck driver. Okay? Now, I may not be able to drive a semi, but I'm still also a CDL driver. So quit it with all your whining, crying, and complaining about, y'all always just picking on the truck driver. Y'all just pick on the truck driver. It's always the trucker's fault, ain't it? Ain't it, dang? You just picking on me. We just trying to drive around. Man, if it wasn't for the truckers, y'all wouldn't have nothing in the stores and nothing because we the ones who take everything to the stores and everything. Us truckers is the backbone of the economy. Most of which is actually true without whining and crying about the importance of the commercial truck driver to this country. I grant you that. But stop whining and crying. Be a man. Squeeze the hell out of them testicles till you get some testosterone back in your bloodstream like God intended you to have, man. And stop that whining, crying, and complaining. Do you know how we develop Western society where we're not having to sit around with our guns loaded and our weapons at the ready? Do you know how we created this Western society where we can go out there and we can drive trucks up and down the road with very valuable cargo in it without bandits stopping us in the middle of the highway and killing us and taking our trucks and taking our goods and that sort of stuff? You know how we established things like the rule of law? Do you know how we were able to set all this up? It was by men taking accountability. Good men like myself, I'm a pretty good man, good men looking over at stupid or evil men who were doing dumb stuff or talking dumb stuff like you're doing right here. And the smart men, the good men, the strong men looked at men like y'all and told y'all to sit down, know your role, and shut your mouth and act right. And men who didn't want to know their role, shut their mouth, and act right, there were consequences. Prison, terminating employment, those sorts of things. Men, we set the standards. And when other men failed to measure up to those standards, there were consequences, real world consequences, up to and including incarceration. Sometimes it might end up with somebody get like 3 of these upside the head to get to speak the language they understand. Sometimes it may be termination. Sometimes it may be foreclosure on your home or eviction if you're renting a home but there were real world tangible consequences for men. And that steered our Western culture to where today we enjoy the highest level of human rights and comfort in the West, far above any other culture. Go to Asia, go to Thailand, Laos, Vietnam, Cambodia, India. I've been to India before. When you wake up in the morning, step outside. I was in Tenali, which is down along the coast of the Bay of Bengal, there in like southeastern India. You wake up in the morning, you step outside of your house or whatever, the odor is wild because Tenali, that's what I always called it, but Tenali is a city of about 400,000 people. And most of them, ain't very many trees. Most of them, they get up and they walk out of their thatch hut and they gather up what is essentially cow manure. Most of it's water buffalo, but it's bovine manure, dried up, and they put it into a little pack, and they start a fire where they set that stuff on fire to, cook their breakfast, make their coffee, or whatever. But you know why they living in that thatch hut, and they got to go out there and make that little fire and first thing in the morning? Because their worldview is based in Hinduism and Islam. Whereas the Western culture, it's based in Christianity. So therefore, we enjoy a standard of living that most of the world outside of the West does not. And we have been able to develop this standard of living and the rule of law and that sort of stuff to where we don't have to keep a sword in one hand and a trowel in the other. See, we can put the sword down and we can use the trowel to build stuff. We're able to do that because of men like me and you. Okay? Now, those women over there, you will not find a building on this planet that was built by a crew of workers who were all female. You won't find it. You will not find a building on this planet built by nothing but women. Now, you can find buildings that were built by contractors who had female employees, but you will not find a building, a bridge, railroad, nothing that was built by nothing but women. And when the women are involved in different crews with the men, they are a decided minority. You know why that is? Men and women act different. We think different. We understand different. We respond different. We process different. We collaborate differently. And what you saying down here? When, mommy, when? It's always the trucker's fault, right? Yeah, even when dumbasses run into us. That right there is why you can't find a building on the face of this planet that's been built by a woman or by women, exclusively by women. That. You see why? Because it's something about the female mindset that avoids accountability. And it's hard to find a group, if a group of women, especially if they're all in the same room, and one of them's misbehaving or saying dumb stuff, the other women will know they're misbehaving and saying dumb stuff, but it is a rare woman who will call out the misbehaving, dumb stuff doing woman to her face. She ain't gonna do it. No, ain't gonna do it. Not necessarily because she's afraid of physical violence, because it's very difficult for women to be physically violent. That's a man thing. But she just don't want to hurt her feelings. And she don't want people to think that she's a butthole picking on the dumb girl. So, and it's everybody. So those dumb women the misbehaving women get to continue being dumb and misbehaving, and it just affects the culture because women, by and large, will not hold one another accountable when they do dumb stuff, when they make mistakes, when they screw up. They won't do it. It's just something about women. They won't do it. Men will. And again, that's why we have fresh water piped to our homes, and we don't have to worry about cholera and E. coli and all that sort of stuff in our water supply. That's why we have systems, whether it's a rural septic system, like I have on my home, or whether it's a community or municipal septic system. Our waste is piped away from us, so we're not living in our own filth. Why? Men develop those systems. You see, electricity. Men figured out that if you move a conductor through a magnetic field, that the electrons on the outer, the eighth shell, typically in copper and other conductors like that, will jump from atom to atom to atom to atom to atom to atom and come out the other end. And then we can slow them down, and the wire that it slows down in will glow, and we can have artificial lights. Figured out that those electrons the movement of those electrons create another magnetic field around that conductor, and we can twist that into a circle and create an electromagnet, and then we can put a shaft in the middle of it with another conductor twisted around it, which will also turn into an electromagnet, and then the center electromagnet will chase the north and south poles of the outer electromagnet, and it will cause that shaft to turn, and then that creates a torque, a twisting force in an electric motor, and we can use that to do all kinds of stuff. Men figured that out. Women didn't. You know why? Because the majority of women that go, oh, it's always the trucker's fault. Because women, by and large, are focused on the social aspect. That's why they won't call out other women to their face like men will. Women are looking out for the social aspect. So figuring out how to generate electricity and harness electricity and then do work with electricity is not the most paramount goal in the feminine mind. The most paramount goal is everybody feeling included and everybody feeling appreciated and everybody feeling loved and validated and seen and heard, and everybody gets to speak their truth and all that kind of stuff. That's what's most important to the feminine mind, even when that feminine mind exists in a male body. I'm assuming you're male. Your name's James, and maybe you're one of them gals. Like, I knew a gal back in high school. Her name was Charlie. That's her name. And everything. But so maybe that's the case, but I'm assuming that you actually have a Y chromosome, despite your feminine mind, that you're actually a man. So yeah, so reach down there, squeeze those little testicles to get you some more testosterone out of them, and stop acting like a woman. Okay? If a vehicle merges from the on-ramp onto the interstate and merges into a semi-truck because that driver just thinks that the semi-truck driver is supposed to move over to the left lane and let them merge, well, in that case, that driver that merged into that semi, it's that driver's fault. If a little four-wheeler cuts off a semi-truck by merging over from the left lane and too close in front of the semi-truck and gets clipped, it's that merging driver's fault. If they merge over and brake check the semi-truck driver and the truck driver rear ends them, it's the little four-wheeler car driver's fault. There are all sorts of things, fool, ma'am, where accidents happen with commercial drivers, and it's not the commercial driver's fault. Just like any other driver when there's an accident, and it's not one of the driver's faults. So stop your whining, your crying, and your complaining. In this video, it looks to me, now I wasn't there, I can't see the future, the past, nothing like. All I can go on is the information that I have, which is all you can go on too, fool. And it looks to me, the driver doesn't look like he ever touched his brake. And there was a shoulder there. Despite what old Dougie up here says, there was a shoulder. But even if there wasn't, that semi-truck driver, there was a vehicle in the lane beside him. If he had moved left, he would have taken out that vehicle. He could have gone right and gone off across the shoulder and out there into the grass. It didn't look to me like there were trees or anything out there. That driver never went left or right. He was just coming on down that lane like it wasn't nothing but business going on when he ran over those 4 young ladies in that car. Never touched his brake. You know, you could argue, well, he didn't have time to stop. He's heavier than the car that did pass the young lady's car. He's heavier, so he got on the brake. He had too much weight behind him, and he creamed the. There was no sign in the video that he ever got on his brakes at all. I would wager he was on the phone talking or scrolling the internet or something to that effect. He never touched his brake. He had time to stop. He had time to avoid the accident. He did not do so. It was his fault. Stop defending bad behavior just because the one doing the bad behavior is a part of your little tribe of Class A commercial drivers. Stop it. Be a man. Do the right thing. And I'm Dane.